All right, chat. We're back for our fourth and final round of Modern Mondays at Guardian Games. We've found two players that are at 3 and 0 that are not splitting, that are worthy of being featured on the stream. We are going to be showcasing Adam Herbers on Amulet Titan and Bradley Brown on Burn. And I promise I did not plan to have Amulet Titan on stream. It just so happened to turn out in my favor. Um, as everybody that listens to this stream hears way too much, I love Amulet Titan.
Oh, I gotta be on Team Burn, I guess, then to keep our discussion interesting here. So,
That's good because I'm going to be extremely biased, so we really do need somebody representing the other side of things.
uh, Burn being in red and white has access to a whole whack load of artifact hate, should they so desire, out of the sideboard. But game one, they're gonna have to be bolting Azusas and Tribe Scouts and things, and or just trying to race. I don't know what
So
quite the angle
this
is.
is
How do you lose
actually
to Burn as Amulet Titan?
this is a good matchup for Amulet Titan. If you have a slow hand, you will lose to Burn. If you have a medium to reasonable hand, you have a great chance of beating Burn because one of the wonderful things about Amulet Titan is you don't take any damage from your lands, from your mana base at all.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
and when you execute your combo, when you get prime time into play, you're oftentimes able to gain life with your lands, so it kind of helps you to stabilize as well. And Adam has kind of the key to a fast start in having Amulet in play from the get-go, and it looks like he has another one in hand. So
The W Amulet is going to be a tremendous quantity of mana real quick.
yeah, it looks like he can just play any old land here. Okay, decides to play a bounce land. That's okay. So Adam's just gonna go off here. He actually just wins this turn. So he's able to get 4 mana because he gets double untap triggers on his Simic Growth Chamber before it bounces. So he's got 4 mana in pool. Cast Azusa. He still has 1 mana in pool. It can be green or blue. He hasn't specified. He'll get 2 additional land drops, which will generate 8 additional mana, leaving him at 9 total mana. He can play Primeval Titan. He's got 3 mana up, any number of which can be blue. He can grab a bounce land. He's doing it the easier way. He can get out 2 Titans here if he wants. He can also get out Slayer's Stronghold and Boros Garrison. That'll give his Titan +4/+0 because he can do it twice, one from each untap trigger before he bounces a land. So his Titan will be a 10/6. He can bounce the land. He'll go to attacks because his Titan now has haste from Slayer's Stronghold. He will attack. He'll find a Vesuva, copying Boros Garrison, and he'll find a Sunhome Fortress of the Legion. That will give his 10/6 Titan double strike, and he'll come in for 20. And Bradley did have the Eidolon to block, so would soak up 2 of the damage, but he had shocked in the Sacred Foundry and was at 18, so it didn't matter. So that is game 1. And that's how you want the games to go when you're on the Amulet side.
So, does Burn can bring in? They can bring in artifact hate, blow up amulets. They can bring in. They might or might not have Blood Moon. I don't know what Burn is up to these days, but that was a hand that without sideboard cards, Burn really cannot interact with in a reasonable way.
Well, that was the like stone cold Amulet nuts.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So,
So yeah,
yeah, most decks lose to that hand
that
unless they
they
have
sure do.
interaction to kill Azusa or interaction to kill the bounce land or discard spell to hit the hand. But even Adam even had redundancy in the hand with Summoner's Pact and a Prime Time. Um, so Burn oftentimes does not play Blood Moon. Blood Moon is a house against this Amulet Titan deck. Some Burn decks I've seen play Damping Sphere. Damping Sphere is also a house against this Amulet Titan deck. Recently, I have seen occasional burns with Deflecting Palm. Deflecting
Woo,
Palm
woo.
is Deflecting Palm at the right time just wins the game against Amulet Titan. So
That's pretty fresh.
there's a number of spicy ways that Bradley can address this matchup. Looks like he's taking out some Boros charms here. Not entirely obvious what he's putting in, but Amulet Titan is a fairly commonly played archetype at this particular store. I think there are probably given the population, overly large number of people that like to play Amulet around here, myself included.
Burn might not bother with too much sort of land hate though, because it might just, plan on racing big mana decks.
Yeah,
So they might not actually have that much.
I don't think they have anything that's actually like effective enough to make a big difference. I mean, I think
Would you bring
something like a
in Smash to
Skullcrack.
Smithereens or something to like kill the amulets, or is that?
Yeah, I think Smash to Smithereens is a viable choice. The Amulet Titan deck doesn't need the amulets to win in this matchup. Just getting a turn 4 Titan into play can
Right.
oftentimes be enough. So,
Smash still being a burn spell though doesn't slow you down too much.
well, unless they don't play an artifact.
Right,
So
of
if they
course.
never hit the amulet, if they have a non-amulet hand and you're, 3 damage away from killing them,
That feels real bad.
yeah. So I think it's a little bit risky. Um, Yeah, besides deflecting palm, there's not a ton of things that I love in this matchup from the burn side. And it looks like um, Adam actually has Kabira Crossroads in hand, so this would be a tough, unless this hand was non-functional, I can't imagine mulliganing it, even if he's still looking for a threat. And it looks like he has both an Amulet and a Tribe Scout and his life gain land, and I think this is a clean keep from Adam, even though there's no threat currently to speak of. You just kind of have to trust in your top decks to get to a threat with a hand like this to start.
Do you know if Adam? Have you seen him play before? Do you know what's in his? Is it like classic Amulet Titan, or is he running any other? Sometimes they
So
run like an alternate win con,
he's
or
running the Bant version of Amulet Titan, so that's kind of been the more popular of late, as you can play a lot of the strong white sideboard cards like Path to Exile. Um, I have not seen anything particularly spicy. It looks like the very standard safe build that I'm used to, but you don't actually tend to see a ton of the spice in a lot of amulet hands, as the deck doesn't really churn through itself that quickly besides
Mhm.
the lands themselves. So you could go a couple games without seeing any spice on an amulet list, and then it so happens that it pops up in an opening hand.
Or they Summoner's Pact for it when it really matters.
Right.
Got the nice signed Swift Spear coming in though.
Yeah, Bradley has a really clean aesthetic for his burn deck.
Signed cards are a very cool way to bling out your deck.
Agreed. Couple Swift Spears.
So,
Bradley stuck on one land.
do you think bolting the Tribe Scout would have been assuming he had that option? I don't know what's in his hand.
I would have generally suggested it. I think it's one of your best bolt targets, but Bradley's, I'm sure, played this matchup a number of times, and
He might
given that
just.
he's stuck on one land, he probably is feeling that maybe Adam just has to miss a little bit here for him to have a chance.
That makes sense if if that's your line is them being slow and you racing, then getting
And
your
it,
creatures out first is the racier.
right, and again, it's so looks like Bradley finds a second land. If he's got the searing effect to match here, that could put him in a much better spot. But I imagine if he had it, he would be firing it off ASAP.
Because if he doesn't, then he has to think a lot harder about where to point his spells.
Right, or he's deciding whether to double spell here, whether he wants to get that Tribe Scout off the table. Those Swift Spears are representing a good bit of damage, so it's possible that he could get that Scout off the table. So we get the Colony Garden tossed into place. We're going to see a plant token here that's going to soak up a bit of damage. Man, it feels like Adam kind of has it all, because I believe he does have the Kabira Crossroads in hand as well. So I suppose still maybe missing a threat, but if he top decks anything, you know, he can hit any one of his essentially 13 threats. Tolaria West to search for Summoner's Pact, 4 of Summoner's Pact, or 4 of Primeval Titan, and he's off to the races. Bradley sends a bolt upstairs. Looks like we're going to grab another 2 off that Swift Spear.
Yeah, as I often play a lot of aggro decks, and you get into these situations where you feel like, well, as long as they brick forever, I've totally got this, and they don't usually brick forever.
No. Jeez. Adam with another 2 amulet hand. And I believe he does have the Tolaria West in hand. That's just insane. If I'm Bradley, I'm just probably just shaking my head here. There's not a whole lot. Unless Bradley's hiding that deflecting palm in hand. Adam won't be able to cast the Titan here, but unless Bradley can close out the game. Oh, he actually had the second land drop. Okay. So Adam sequenced with the using the Tribe Scout's ability first because he only had 1 bounce land, and he wanted to make sure he could get his land drop for turn to cast the Titan. So he didn't want Bradley to find a way to kill the Tribe Scout in response to him hit to the bounce land untap trigger. So very intelligent sequencing for this deck from Adam.
So does he have enough for the one shot here, or
Yes, this is another instance where if he wanted to, he could go for the one shot. Because again, all you need
is there
is
any
you just need the
downside to that line? Like, how does he lose their path, I guess?
yeah. So he's ahead enough on life that he could certainly consider trying to insulate himself with another Titan here. Because path is a real concern against burn post board. Bradley did keep up a white, so you know there's reason to say that Adam could read path. Um, but it looks like he's just making Bradley have it. And if Bradley doesn't pass path right
Pre-combat,
here,
right?
then I would assume that he does not have it. This is the time if you have a
Because you don't want to
path.
let him get 2 more lands and do
No,
whatever land trickery these
yeah,
tricky
there's
amulet players have.
so interesting. So Adam, Bradley, he knows Bradley hasn't conceded yet, so he's kind of like backtracking a little bit and possibly deciding to get in the 10 damage and then insulate himself with a growth chamber and T-West. That's kind of an odd it's possible also that he has one of the lands he needs, like Sunhome is stuck in hand. So he can't actually go for the hit kill. I haven't seen. No, he does. He's got it. He's got it if he wants it. He's just gonna go in. Okay, so he just decides, you know, if the attack went off, he's just gonna go for the kill here. I think I probably would have taken the more conservative line from the get-go, but I think you know if Adam's gonna do what he's gonna, wow.
I guess Bradley's hoping he. There's no. Is there any upside to not doing that pre-combat?
I don't think so.
Maybe he just didn't.
Uh, yeah, it feels like you just let your opponent have 4 lands that you probably didn't need to.
But he had it. He had it. He gets to untap.
Right. I mean, he definitely
And
tricked me. I really thought that he did not have path there. So I 100% would have done the same line that Adam did, given that if the Slayer Stronghold Boros Garrison got the haste and that attack went off, I just would have done the exact same thing.
oh, he's getting him. He's getting him low. And having to pay for pack next turn will slow Adam down a little bit, I assume.
Yeah, I actually think Bradley's gonna get this.
Yeah, because... Oh, did he suspend Riftbolt?
Yeah.
And Adam's at 3 with a suspended Riftbolt? Yeah. Okay.
Unless I have the life totals incorrect. What a battle.
Yeah, this is good. This is good. Whew. We thought we were going to have
I thought Amulet
a
just had it
double
there.
double nut draw game, but
I mean, it still is like a
we were getting too
crazy
fancy about our
nut
burn
draw.
sideboard speculation with like artifact destruction and blood moon. I was like, no, you just path works.
Jeez. So, but Adam does have another. Adam does have another T-West, so he can get. What does he get here? I mean, he can get another Titan, but he's really flirting with just dying to burn spells. It's if he's got Hornet Queen doesn't feel good enough. If he's got a Thragtusk, if he's got something that gains him, okay. All right, we're just gonna go the Titan route. He
I guess he
can't.
can make a whack load of mana if he has another bounce land in his hand, right?
I mean, he can. Yeah, he's gonna end up making, I think, exactly the 6 that he needs to cast the Titan, because he's gonna need blockers here to insulate himself against the Swift Spears. So tapping the Tribe Scout is less than ideal unless you're able to use it to get another blocker.
Has he played the plant this game yet?
Yes, I believe the Colony Garden is in hand. It blocked a Swift Spear earlier
Oh,
in
and
the
then
game.
right, came
And
back.
I actually thought the Kabira Crossroads was also in hand. In which case, he's not looking at a lot of great options here to survive. He could get Talaria West and uh, and Simic Growth Chamber and transmute Talaria West to get Pact of Negation, which is a tough way to do it, but it does give you an additional counter spell in hand. So it lets you stop one of the burn spells coming in.
I really appreciate that we have an Amulet Titan player in the booth here, because otherwise I would have no idea what to tell you guys about what's going on here. I'm like, well, he's getting lands, playing lands. There's land things. He's a big creature, land things.
I think you probably have to get Pact of Negation here. I just don't think that there's a better line that will insulate you more than that one would.
Right, because yeah, you can't. If you're at 3, you can't let him cast this. Well, yeah, because Rift Bolt's coming off, so
Right.
you're in a bad scene regardless. But
Yeah, and you maybe just have to throw the Pact of Negation at the Rift Bolt.
I just hope he has lands.
Yeah,
or
hope that there's just
whatever.
nothing. Yeah.
He's thinking hard about these lands, that's for sure.
It takes a lot of thinking to get it right. It's also possible that he can get like an engineered explosives. No, that you'll still just die to the Rift Bolt. You have to stop the Rift Bolt, or you
Right.
have to gain life. So,
Right.
2 options.
So he's got
Untap. Tap. We have 6 floating. 6 in pool, 4 blue, 2 green. This is where I believe Adam bounces that Talaria West. Goes and takes a look for that Pact. So bounces the T-West. Transmute Talaria West. Got potentially should be okay, so green, green, blue floating. So we're using 3 blue on that. And Pact of Negation. Okay. So Adam identifies the same line that I have.
got to make him have more than just the Rift Bolt.
Yeah, Kier, it's been a great night of streams. We've actually had some really great matches this evening. I think you know, definitely don't always say that, and we get a number of blowouts oftentimes, but we've actually had a lot of really interesting close matches tonight, so I think it's a good stream to rewatch. So Rift Bolt goes off suspend, so I must have had life totals incorrect then, because Adam does not fire off the pact here.
I'm gonna try and peek at life totals real quick for the dramatic finish.
Yeah, let's make sure we're... Okay, looks like we're 18 to 2. Must have added an extra burn spell in there somewhere. So Adam has two pack. Well, he's got a summoner's pack that he has to pay for next turn, and he potentially has a pact of negation that he'd also have to pay for to stop a burn spell. He has those covered currently, and unless Bradley has a Blood Moon, which, again, I don't think Burn runs Blood Moon, Adam will be able to pay for them. Another potential route is if Bradley had another land and could bait Adam into casting a spell and had Damping Sphere in hand or something like that, then he could also have a gotcha moment where Adam dies to his packs, but I think that's probably not a very reliable line. I do think it will actually be somewhat difficult for Adam to kill Bradley next turn, as he actually dumped. He ended up with a lot of the lands that he would want in his deck in his hand, and that can actually be a problem for these amulet decks, is sometimes you end up with too many lands in hand that you need in your deck to get multiple untapped triggers to actually be able to go in for the kill. We've obviously reached the crux of this game.
Yep.
Kind of
Yep.
in the tank on Bradley's side.
Very curious what he has in his hand that makes him have to think hard about it.
So, really unsure here. So if you tender an attack, you take... I mean, you're going to lose a Swift Spear, they're going to lose the Sakura Tribe Scout. So it seems fairly free to me that you probably want to attack here. And Bradley... Adam announcing he has effects before damage. Bradley has priority here. I imagine he will be activating that Sakura Tribe Scout. We get a Skull Crack, so that's going to prompt the Pact of Negation. Bradley takes one off his lands there, goes to 17. So here we see the activation and Kabira Crossroads. So we do have the Crossroads. That'll put Adam up to 4. Skullcrack is good. Puts Adam to 1.
Whew.
We go to damage. Looks like we're going to have a neat trade. Adam stabilizing at 1 here. If he can get it done, be a great performance. I mean, he managed to get out of this
turn.
turn.
Not have to play the pact.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, it's enormous. Very intelligent tapping of his lands. A decent chance he'll want to return that Kabira Crossroads or copy it, so good to just get that tapped at this point. He's got access to all of his colors from his other lands. You kind of want to make sure you have that Boros Garrison up. You're probably going to want to give this Titan Vigilance to make sure it can also stay back to block. Unless Adam thinks he can just double strike it and finish off the game here. I think if I were him, I go in for the swing with the Titan with Vigilance, grab the Vesuva. No, he's already got Vesuva in hand. Place the third amulet. It's just egregious. I believe he's already transmuted 3 Talaria West this game. So I don't think he has the option to toss more Titans onto the battlefield via his lands, but I guess we'll find out here because there's not a whole lot else for him to grab out of his deck as far as land drops are concerned. He has most of his good utility lands in hand.
How big is Titan? What did you just...
He gave it +2/+0 vigilance and haste from the Slayer Stronghold,
Okay.
so it's coming in for 8 here.
It doesn't have double strike yet. Which one is the double striker?
Double strike is Sunhome
Sunhome. Is that in
Fortress
his
of the
hand
Legion.
right
It's
now?
in his hand, yeah.
Got it,
A
okay.
lot of the lands that he used to go for lethal when the Titan got pathed ended up in his hand.
Right.
So he'll get one of the Horizon lands and a Selesnya Sanctuary. So he's got the ability to bounce, and he's got the ability to take an extra draw here. So hoping to maybe draw any sort of like chump blocker off the top. Really, you're just hoping to draw something that can possibly sit in the way of another creature. Bradley will take 8, go to 9. And we go to Adam's second main, where it looks like we're going to see, just clarifying, the Vesuva is copying a Boros Garrison. We see another Summoner's Pact. So Adam did pick up another Summoner's Pact. I don't know where he picked it up, but he did manage to pick it up. If he's got any creature that can gain him life, I'd take that. If he had a Hornet Queen and the mana to cast it, I would toss a Hornet Queen out there. More copies of Primeval Titan I don't think are that helpful.
What are they?
Adam going back, he needed to bounce a land from his bounce land that he got off the Titan attack. So we missed it in the phase that it happened, but goes back and gets it. And Adam just drops another blocker on the field. He's just getting lands out of the deck at this point. Again, there's no useful utility lands. I'm actually almost surprised that he left in Cavern of Souls, but maybe felt like he had some other lands that were worse, like maybe Bajuka Bog came out of the deck.
I can't imagine you want a random tap land that doesn't do anything in the matchup.
Probably not, yeah. Yeah, Cavern's not great, but, you know, there are definitely some better cuts. And that's it. Bradley's got 2 Goblin Guides in hand. And
that was a hard fight from Bradley that game.
Yeah, if Adam hadn't managed to put a second threat on the field, Bradley could have cast both Goblin Guides and actually gotten in and finished the game. So
yeah, 2, wow.
The combination of Pact plus an extra threat onto the battlefield just barely got Adam through that matchup. And, yeah, I mean... That's not oftentimes Burn can take on the play. Burn can take a game off this Titan deck, but yeah, we saw 2 like tremendously close matchups there.
So we see Smash, Path, and Skullcrack. It looks like, and Shattering Spree. Yeah, so he's going in on the Artifact Hate.
Yeah, Paths are amazing. I really think Paths are fantastic. Adam boarded in some Paths as well, and it looks like maybe that's Dispel. Hard to tell. Path seems okay against Burn. It's really there for other matchups, but I guess in a pinch, you know, if you need to get an Eidolon off the battlefield.
Or if you just have...
I think you prefer to just try and block Burn's threats rather than like remove them with something that, you know, might give them enough lands to double spell to actually like accelerate them. I actually think there's some very real downside to Path and Amulet, and I personally am off the white build. I'm just hoping to dodge Hogak, so we'll get that out of the way. But but I'm on a more red heavy build, back to a Braid and some of kind of the maybe quote older tech. In any case, a fun one to end the night on. If you've stuck with us throughout the whole stream, or you're just coming in towards the end of the day, we are Portland Paper, streaming at Guardian Games for Modern Mondays. We stream every Monday at 6:30 p.m. Pacific time for all y'all to watch. I cut the games and put them on Portland Paper's YouTube stream if you want to watch specific games that are labeled and cut to their length. If you so choose and want to support our stream, we take any money that comes in via Twitch subscriptions or anything else and put it back into trying to improve gear and add more elements to the stream to make it better and more watchable and more fun. So um, if you choose to support us, thank you very much. If you're just here to watch, stay here and keep enjoying the content. So for Brennan and I, thanks for watching this evening with Portland Paper and Modern Mondays, and we'll see you next week.
Good night.